Still a couple minutes to go, right?
And I would like to remind everyone today that this proceeding is being recorded by a court stenographer sitting over here, and is also being video recorded and live streamed on our website. And the video will then be placed on our website for anyone to view at a later date. As the presiding officer, I call this hearing to order. The date is Wednesday, March 29th, 2017. The time is 10 o'clock, and the location is the Plains Township Fox Hill Firehouse Number 2 at 52nd Street in Plains, PA 18702. The Pennsylvania Racehorse Development and Gaming Act requires at Section 1326 that an operator's license shall be subject to the renewal by the board every 3 years. This license renewal hearing is convened by the board pursuant to the mandate found in Section 1205B1I of the Gaming Act, which requires that the board conduct a public hearing for any license renewal application in the municipality or township that the operator is located. This public hearing was advertised on the board's website, announced at board public meetings, and advertised in local newspapers. Present with me today, board members. To my immediate right is Commissioner Bill Ryan, and to my immediate left is Commissioner Dick Jewell. And we will be joined by Dante Santoni shortly. He is still making his way here. We'll begin the hearing with a presentation by Downs Racing, with the opportunity for the board and Office of Enforcement Counsel to question any witnesses. And after Downs has concluded its presentation, the Office of Enforcement Counsel will have an opportunity to make a presentation again with the board, and counsel for Downs Racing will have an opportunity to ask questions of their witnesses. After the close of testimony and evidence from both the parties, those individuals who have registered to speak at today's hearing during the public comment period will be heard as their name is called. Government officials will have 10 minutes to speak. Representatives from community groups will have 5 minutes, and individuals will have 3 minutes. Following the close of the public comment period, Downs Racing and OEC will each have the opportunity to provide a short closing statement. We remind everyone this is an administrative hearing, so please treat this as if you were attending a court proceeding. All witnesses, please speak loudly and clearly into the microphones provided so the court reporter and our audio can pick up what you're saying. And I would ask that when you speak initially, if you could state and spell your name for our court reporter, he would appreciate that. So I would ask now that those testifying from Downs Racing and from our Office of Enforcement Counsel, if you would please stand and raise your right hand to be sworn by the court reporter.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
And Downs Racing, if you're ready to begin.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tony Colucci, President, Mohegan Sun Pocono, CARLUCCI. I guess it helps if I have the mic on, huh? Were you able to get that? Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. With me in attendance is Tom Burke, our Chief Operating Officer, David Nome, our legal counsel, as well as our compliance officer. To my left is Anthony McGowan, my CFO. Right next to me is Maria Zangardi, our Vice President of Administration. Sitting behind me is Luann Feccio, our Vice President of Marketing. Also sitting behind me, Lynn Seegers, our Vice President of Casino Operations, as well as Dale Rapson, our Vice President of Racing Operations. We believe we have a really good story to tell here today. We're going to go over topics such as the tax revenue we generated, our job creation, our success in diversity, compulsive and problem gambling and our compliance with that, our community involvement, which we're very proud of, the guest feedback, a summary of our operations, and the development that we plan for down the road. With all that said, we believe our biggest story is the promise that we've delivered over the last 10 years. With that said, I'm going to hand it over to my CFO, Anthony McGowan.
Anthony McGowan, ANTHONY, MCGOWAN. Good morning, Director Lloyd, Commissioner Ryan, and Commissioner Jewell, and thank you for attending today. What I wanted to talk to today is really the tax revenues generated by Mohegan Sun. Since inception, Mohegan Sun has generated $1.35 billion in tax contributions to the Commonwealth, and that's a combination of gaming taxes as well as other taxes being property taxes, pari-mutuel taxes, sales taxes, payroll taxes, etc. We've also, this past year, entered into a memorandum of understanding with Plains Township as well to continue to make our local share payments. So with that, we believe that the local share funding has served an important role in assisting the township, promoting economic development, safety, and emergency services, as well as other public interests and initiatives. MSP, we believe we've been a strong community partner, serving as a major employer in the township and working with the township to address community needs and supporting many of the local organizations and charities. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Maria Zangardi, our Vice President of Administration.
Good morning. My name is Maria Zangardi, M-A-R-I-A-Z-A-N-G-A-R-D-I. And I'd like to talk today a lot about our employment achievements and what we've done since inception with our property. We've seen 850% growth in our team member base since opening. And we're extremely proud of the fact that in those years, we've been able to promote from within. Over 1,500 team members transferring, developing into new positions, being promoted. We recently held our team 10-year anniversary, and we have 62.5% of the original individuals hired to open this casino still here with us today. And we honor those team members by providing a front of house beautiful plaque that shows we celebrate the dedication of our team members. And many of us are local. I myself, having been from only 3 miles from the property, Princeton Township, started out front line, and we've been able to grow this property with the majority of our individuals living very close, within a 10-mile radius of the property. Also working with the local colleges and universities. We then opened our hotel in 2013 in our most recent renewal period, adding careers in hotel sales, banquets and catering, events, hotel operations, and housekeeping. Continue to grow and promote from within in our organization and train individuals. Our hotel and convention center has provided a great amenity to bring people from further and further distances to this local community. Our hotel has some of the greatest guest service scores in our entire enterprise, with over 80% of all guest surveys coming back A+ service based off of the great team members that we have. And in addition, we added 2 more tenants, now bringing our total of tenant team members over 400, in addition to the team members that we have working for Mohegan Sun. Our hotel is also part of the Preferred Lifestyle Collection, which means that there are anonymous third-party experts that come in and rate the amenities at our hotel and rate the ability to bring memorable, authentic experiences to the guests that come to our property. In addition, our leadership, most of whom are all promoted from within, serve this community, serve on local community boards, serve the local community colleges that we work with, trying to bring other individuals into the organization to grow, doing internships, co-ops, or shadowing experiences. We've had several testimonials from these colleges, which I won't read aloud, but the efforts that we put to reach out to these campuses, whether it be Johnson College or King's College, bringing the foundation of solid academics, aligning that with our culture and the value that we place on things like tuition reimbursement, helping people get their masters. In addition, we've had several employment achievements, whether it be being recognized for our practices in human resources or guest service, or our practices with individuals with disabilities, or being a very supportive corporation. We strive to create a great environment. And so a lot of the testimonials come right from our team, talking about this is the best place I've ever worked. People are fun, people are friendly, people are supportive. And that's the environment that we like to create. And at the same time, that kind of environment translates into success in diversity. And so we've seen a lot of success in regards to our employment, in regards to our vendor relations, and I'm going to talk through some of those today as well. We've seen, just since the last license renewal, a great increase in our diverse population, still continue to attract people who understand that our culture is a very fun, welcoming environment. Again, that promote from within culture has led us to even have, some of the most senior level executives as female. I started out 10 years ago as an employment specialist. I don't think there's many companies that would give someone an opportunity like I myself have had, and many others of us that I had mentioned before. And so we're very proud of our success in our diversity initiatives. In addition, our team members believe it. They see it. Our team member testimonials have told us this. They believe that we do a great job of respecting differences in culture. One great quote is that someone says, MSP is one of the most inclusive places I've ever worked. It doesn't matter what your background is, there's opportunity for everyone. And so, with that being said, I am also extremely proud of the work that we've done with individuals with disabilities, reaching out to organizations like Keystone Community Resources, where we've hired dozens of individuals from their organization, welcome them into our culture. And you can read this testimonial through the presentation, but I think one of the quotes that was most meaningful is that all staff from upper level management to the coworkers on a daily basis are helpful and friendly, and it is our wish that other companies will soon follow the example set by Mohegan Sun. We do this through developing our leaders in areas of emotional intelligence, caring, servant leadership, community service. Those focus for our leadership continues to create a wonderful environment. And some highlights to go through, but over 6% of our total expenditures over the last 3 years are allocated to minority-owned and women-owned businesses, as compared to 4.8% in the previous renewal period. We are a lifetime gold member of the NAACP Wilkes-Barre. We have our own diversity committee where we focus on how do we attract individuals, how do we help them apply, obtain jobs, obtain growth, obtain promotion here. We also hosted a vendor fair welcoming minority and women-owned businesses specifically for them to meet with our stakeholders, to be able to talk about the products that they have to offer and how they may align closely with our business and with our culture. And so we hosted this in our new Keystone Grand Ballroom, which was part of our hotel opening. In addition, we spend a lot of vendor money in Pennsylvania and in our local community, as you can see. more than $114 million in Pennsylvania alone between 2013 and 2016, and over $38 million, or over 33% of it, in Luzerne County alone. And we're also committed to creating an environment that is fun, friendly, but at the same time ensuring that we provide services to those that may need them. And so we're very much focused on compulsive and problem gambling, partnering with the PA Council on Compulsive Gambling, yearly updating that program, training every single team member in it, making sure that team members are involved on some of the latest and most up-to-date information during Problem Gambling Awareness Month. And then also, lastly, I'd like to talk about community involvement, because that is a big focus of what we do. And over this period, we've donated to 734 local organizations, which is up almost 35% from the last period, totaling over $1.3 million. Since inception, we're over $5.3 million in donations, and so we're very proud of that. 46.2% of those local organizations are in Luzerne County alone. And as far as the amount goes, over 68% of the amount that we donate is right here in our own county where we live and work. And then beyond the monetary resources that we provide, there's also a team member involvement, a leadership involvement, whether it be to clean up the local parks during Public Service Day or Day of Caring, whether it be to do Valley Santa and wrapping gifts for families in need, or buying gifts for families in need during the holiday, or going to the food banks. We're actively involved in the community. And then also this translates into guest feedback and guest success, guests loving our property. And so we've had many guests that tell stories about how the experience of coming to our property changed their life, meeting fun, friendly people, people that cared about them, even when they're going through a serious illness, how it made them feel renewed. Or, potentially just going out there and rating us on TripAdvisor, with our new hotel, and raving about our restaurants and our amenities, raving about our clean, comfortable environment, and raving about our team, which can't be more accommodating and ready to serve. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lynn Seegers, who's our Vice President of Casino Operations.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lynn Seegers, L-Y-N-N-S-E-G-A-R-S. As Maria stated, I'm the Vice President of Casino Operations, and I'm here to talk to you today about our commitment as a company to ensure that we continue to reinvent ourselves on the casino floor to make sure we continue to attract people from all over. Over the last 3 years, we have reinvested over $8 million into enhancing that gaming product. Some of our initiatives, we redesigned and increased the capacity in our high-limit room because we have seen an increase in that high-limit play coming from farther distances once we opened that hotel. We replaced the slot chairs, slot bases. Part of that initiative was to kind of break up those slot banks, make it a little more comfortable, make some more aisleways and things like that for guests to make it more comfortable for them as they're playing. And then we also refreshed the slot product, and we continue to do that and continue to try and find games that appeal to our guests. We introduced Fusion Roulette as an additional gaming option. That is a electronic betting terminal with a live dealer that spins a ball. It allows guests to learn the game of roulette at a lower minimum, less intimidating, and so the purpose is to, again, attract new revenue, not just cannibalize revenue from one place to another. Then we added Blazing Sevens Blackjack Progressive as a side bet on our blackjack games. The jackpot is now over $400,000 actually. It just went up over this weekend. We added bonus craps as additional wagering opportunity on our craps game as well. Again, trying to continue to offer new offerings for our guests. Now I'm going to turn it over to Dale on harness racing.
Good morning. My name is Dale Rapson, Vice President of Racing Operations, D-A-L-E-R-A-P-S-O-N. I've been at Pocono Downs for 38 years, and since Mohegan Sun has taken the reins, I have seen a vast improvement. The main thing is the money they have put into the facility. to make it from a minor league racetrack to a major league racetrack. We are considered now one of the major racetracks in the country. As you can see on your right-hand side there, we have first year we built a brand new paddock, over $6 million. This now attracts the best horses, trainers, and drivers in the country. On the left, you see our infield, which was desolate when we started before Mohegan Sun came. It was just dreary, and you can see how beautiful it is now. And also, which is not on the slide, is our simulcast area and betting area. That's the first thing Mohegan Sun did when they first came here, was to invest a lot of money into the facility, which makes it compatible to the casino. We're the few racetracks in casino where casino people have accessibility to the racetrack, and the racetrack has accessibility to the casino. Our operations, we usually race March through November. We were the home of the 2013 Breeders' Crown. We have 3 off-track wagering facilities, one in Allentown and Lehigh Valley, one in Carbondale in Lackawanna County, and one in Stroudsburg. We get a lot of comments and recognition from the top drivers in the country that this is the best surface racetrack in the country. Events, of course, we have Kentucky Derby, the Triple Crown, Preakness in Belmont. We also have great celebrities here. We've had Mike Schmidt, Steve Carlton, Lawrence Taylor, Jim Kelly, Mean Joe Green. They've all been here in the last 2 years. We have great stake races that are funded by the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes program. And I think one program I'd like to introduce you to is our educating through our junior horse racing camp. We invite 10 to 12 children from 10 to 14 years old, and they learn racing. And I mean, it's from bottom to top. I mean, they get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, clean stalls, wash horses, and then at the end they actually participate in a race. And some of them have gone on to be harness drivers as far as their career. Just again, some of the events we hear, it's a very friendly, exciting entertainment. We've had 50 world records that were matched or broken since 2013 and 16. Again, our track is considered the #1 track surface in the country, or probably the world. We smashed all records. Last Breeders' Crown, we did over $3 million. That's the biggest Hanover harness racing track in the state of Pennsylvania. Again, I'd like to announce now, we announced it at a press conference last week, that we have been awarded the 2018 Breeders' Crown here at Pocono Downs. So in 2018, we will be hosting the 2018 Breeders' Crown. Get a lot of fan feedback. I'm not going to read them for you, but we get a lot of positive comments. And finally, this horse here, Sebastian K, was the fastest trot ever in the world, was raced at Pocono Downs. And that's quite an accomplishment. Of all the major tracks in the world, the fastest trot was raced here at Pocono Downs. We had our 50th anniversary. Our track is 52 years old coming up. 2 years ago, we had our 50th anniversary. And we had a lot of festivities, and see the Clydesdales were here and everything, and it was a great family event. And I'd like to turn it over to Luann, our marketing director.
Good morning, Luann Fetcho, Luannfetcho. In February of 2015, Mohegan Sun launched a brand new advertising campaign called Full of Life. This campaign really spoke to all the variety of amenities that is offered at the casino that help our guests create memorable experiences. Our Keystone Grand Ballroom, as Maria mentioned earlier, really is a great complement to our sponsorship of the Mohegan Sun Arena. It provides a more intimate setting. It holds about 1,200 seats. We've had great headliners such as REO Speedwagon, Doobie Brothers, Huey Lewis, and we continue to offer that entertainment to casino guests. We've had over 51,000 people attend since 2013. This speaks to the reach of what our Grand Ballroom was able to attract through our entertainment. While we concentrate on the local inner market, which is the dark green, we actually have people coming in from all those light green spots just to see our entertainment. extending the Full Life campaign not only at the casino but through the community. Our ballroom also hosts not only guest events for our guests, but we actually offer the Northeastern Pennsylvania Philharmonic Pop Series, which actually we have a show coming up this weekend of the Piano Man. We like to involve ourselves in a lot of charities. We're involved with Ryan's Run, Clash for Cash Fitness, the NASCAR Poker Tournament, which actually supports children's cancer research, is held at our ballroom. And we also have local events providing sports enthusiasts for golf and our outdoor expo. Our Party on the Patio Summer Concert Series has really become very popular in the last few years. Since 2013, we've had over 147,000 people. This is an event that offers free entertainment on our racing apron every Thursday during the summer. It actually starts in June and goes through September. So another way to offer great entertainment during the week to our guests. This is what it looks like. It's a lot of fun. I hope everybody has a chance to come out. We just announced our new lineup for 2017, and we've got a lot of great compliments on that. We also celebrate our different holidays with our pyro musical fireworks display over July 4th last year. And thousands of people enjoy our Oktoberfest. For the last 3 years, we've estimated over 84,000. Again, another way to provide fun festivities and activities out in our racetrack apron for our guests. Other areas of entertainment we provide around the property. We have bands on the weekends at our Breakers venue. Bar Louie, one of our tenants, does weekend live bands. In the past, we've had our acoustic musical talent at the Terrace. We also have a small bar lounge area off the hotel that provides entertainment as well. We're very proud that the Times Leader readers, as well as Casino Player magazine readers, have voted us many Best of awards. We've actually just added 3 more for 2017 to this list that we just received last week. Maria talked about the hotel bringing new guests to our area. This really does show the reach, where if you look in the upper northwest corner, we have guests coming as far as Canada. To the right, Massachusetts. We have South Jersey, Philadelphia guests, and we also go as far as west to Pittsburgh. Of course, the inner market is where we draw most of our occupancy from, but it really has afforded us the reach extension to bring more guests into the region. We do know also that when we have a guest staying in our hotel versus a non-hotel stay, we see approximately 50% more gaming revenue. So that helps us all. It gives them more time to spend in the casino and enjoy our other amenities. I'm going to turn it over now to Tony McGowan to talk about the development.
Thank you, Luann. Just to let you know a few of the things that we're currently working on at the property in 2017. We're going to go through a full restoration of the stable and practice track area on the racing side at an estimated cost of $387,000. Part of that project, we're going to install a water reuse system that will collect the water runoff from the stable roofs into a 380,000 gallon impoundment. And what we're going to do is reuse that water as part of watering the racetrack, which uses somewhere between 20,000 and 60,000 gallons of water per day. Also, we're going to replace topsoil on the backside. About 5.3 acres of backside area is going to be returned to meadow conditions. Also, we're continuing to work or build our combined heat and power plant on the property. So this system will provide a reliable, energy-efficient source of heating and electrical power, costing an estimated $2.2 million. Mohegan Sun partnered with UGI as well as students from Penn State Hazleton on the design of the project, and it will reduce our primary energy consumption by about 22%, as well as our carbon footprint by 14%. And this is anticipated to open in the spring of 2017. So with that, I'd like to turn it back to Tony Carlucci, our president.
And again, I just want to take the time to thank you for letting us speak today. We believe we had a really good story to tell, and we maintained our promise to the state through the tax revenues that we've generated to Plains Township by honoring our local share agreement, to the community by the amount of money we've donated to charities, by the amount of money we've donated to local events. Most importantly, to our team members who are a diversified work group that love to work at Mohegan Sun, and we love having them, and to our guests, okay, that we constantly do things such as party on the patio, obviously our casino, and the things that we do to support our guests and make it a fun environment for them. And we're available for any questions you may have.
At this point, I'll turn it over to our Office of Enforcement Counsel for any questions you may have.
John Crowe, C-R-O-H-E, for the Office of Enforcement Counsel. I just have a couple follow-ups. If I can go back to slide 8, which stated that you currently have 1,700 employees. How many approximately of those employees are full-time versus part-time?
We have about 55% of those team members are full-time team members, 45% part-time on-call team members.
And do you foresee any changes to the number of employees at Mohegan Sun in the near future?
Depending on growth, there may be, however, right now, that's pretty much the number where we're at.
And do the full-time positions include any benefits such as health care?
Yes, we do provide a very generous full-time benefits package, which includes medical, dental, vision, 401k, tuition reimbursement, generous paid time off, and many other ancillary benefits.
What type of ID scanning technology does Mohegan Sun Security currently utilize?
We just recently installed new hardwired scanners that now do a much better job than the wireless scanners that we used to have.
And can you just give us an overview of how the hardwired scanner system works?
So yes, they are connected to the network. Oh, sorry, I didn't turn that mic on. They are connected to the network, and so now what happens is when you put that ID into the scanner, there are, I think, almost 13 different checkpoints that it does to that ID. It looks at both the front and the back, looks at the holograms, things that the human eye can't see, and then verifies whether that ID is valid or not.
And if I can go back to slide 31, which referenced responsible gaming training, does Mohegan Sun currently offer any other form of responsibility training, such as ramp training for its employees?
Yes, and actually, our training manager at Mohegan Sun Pocono is a ramp certified trainer through the state of PA. So that is something that we are very focused on and had her go through that program.
Are there currently any plans to increase or decrease the number of slot machines or table games at Mohegan Sun?
No, currently, the number of games that we have, we are looking actually to add some possibly electronic blackjack dealer assisted to our offering that would only increase capacity. And
regarding the slot machines, are they currently owned or leased?
There is a mix of owned and leased. There are about 6% lease versus the rest of the floor.
So do you foresee any change in the size of the gaming floor?
No.
I do want to comment, though. Our capital, we've increased our capital spend for the slot product so that we can continuously refresh our product. We've significantly increased it in the past year.
And are there, can you speak to any plans to add or change any of the amenities offered at the facility?
There's some things we can't comment on right now. There's some different things that we are looking at that's too early in the development stage to comment on that publicly at this point.
And to reference slide 44, which spoke to a couple of the new games and bonus bets, are there any other side bets or new games that you anticipate adding?
We continue to monitor the new product as it comes out, and so as we see what's popular in the market, we will then look at adding those.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
I have one question for you. Mr. Crow, RAMP, can you define that acronym just for the record? Someone.
Responsible Alcohol Management Program.
Okay, thank you. I know what it is, but I didn't know if we needed to make that clear for the record. So now I will turn it over to our board members if they have any questions.
Just a few, and if I can. Ms. Seegers, it's my recollection that over the last handful of board meetings, there have been consent decrees involving Mohegan Sun and the Office of Enforcement Counsel, and the topic, the issue concerned in those consent decrees has been underage gaming. That would be an accurate statement, correct?
Correct.
You know, I'm sure, Mr. Carlucci, you know how important this issue is to the board, to the people of Pennsylvania, to the General Assembly. And I would just ask you, Ms. Seegers, can you tell us what you have done and Mohegan Sun has done to give this board confidence that that area will improve over the next 3 years if your license is renewed?
Sure. We just recently redesigned the gaming floor entrances, and so we've significantly reduced the number of entrance points. We added the hardwired scanners, as Mr. Crow had mentioned. We have reduced the size of the entrances from 21 to 46 feet wide to now down to 11 feet wide. We've increased the number of security officers during peak periods at those entrances. So whereas before there was 1 security at a 21-foot wide entrance, there are now 2 at an 11-foot wide entrance. We have done retraining of all of our security team, and they have kind of been made aware now of just the significance of diligence involved in carding. And those, like I said, mentioned earlier, those scanners have been fantastic in helping us detect any fake IDs as well.
I think Lynn also, if she said it, I might have missed it, but we also reduced the amount of entrances from 14 down to 4, which is significant. She didn't mention, okay, I'm sorry, I apologize, but and we also doubled up on the staffing on that.
I would like to think that cutting from 14 to 4 would have a huge impact. I don't know how you were able to effectively police 14 entrances. And I'm kind of surprised that that's what the situation was all those years. But now you are talking about only 4 entrances. And how many security people staff each of those entrances during the time that you're open, which is all the time?
So like I mentioned, during our peak, high volume days, at each of those 11-foot entrances now there are only 2 security there. There are 2 security officers there, whereas before there was only 1 at a 21-foot wide. At our main valet entrance, which is one of the third entrance point, it has at least 3 during those peak times as well. Before, it was kind of an inconsistent staffing where, overnight we went just to the doors and there was just security at the doors. So now it's constant. So there are just security at each of those entrance points 24/7, and there's no more confusion.
And when you say peak times, what does that phrase mean to you?
High volume, weekends, holidays, pretty much weekends and holidays.
And during the weekends, when you are the busiest, I assume, how many people come in to the casino on a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, each of those days, do you know?
We have upwards of over 10,000 visitors in a day.
And just to mention as well, from a team member side, we've created an incentive program for our security officers, because those are the individuals who are really dedicating every day to securing that floor. And we've created an incentive program for them when they achieve, 100 days of having, no incidents. And so we're proud of that, and they're excited about that.
Okay. Mr. Carlucci, we are now seeing commercial casinos opening across the border in New York State. how do you expect the new competition up in New York State to affect Mohegan Sun?
Well, we're seeing a slight effect in what we call our fight zones, which is closer to the New York region, from one of the commercial casinos that opened up, which recently started advertising here. The casino was always there, they just added table games and a hotel. The percentage of our business is minimal, so we're not seeing a huge hit to that. Most of our revenue comes from our local customer within our local region. So it's not significant, but we're seeing a slight. I would really classify it as a slight decrease.
So would it be safe to say you don't expect the impact going forward, say a year from now, to be more than slight?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay. Thank you.
Just have a couple questions, if I may. As to the amount of money that given, we'll call it to charity, I'll use that term generically, it looked like it was a fairly big increase over the last 3 years. And I'm interested first of all in process, and that is, how do you triage the many requests that come in to you, and how do you weigh them, and then how do you make decisions on allocations?
Tony, can you speak to that?
Yeah, we actually have a group that includes many of the executive individuals here that we meet on a regular basis, and we review each of the requests individually. As we look through the various requests, we see we look at the program and what the ultimate goal of the program is. We see how that fits with with our culture as well and our goals, and we do try to give to as many programs as possible.
The increase that you indicated, is that because you devoted a higher percentage of your revenue in the 3-year period than in the prior? You had higher revenue, so there was more money available. How did that really compare? Let's say apples to apples, percent of revenue. It's not a large amount, but percent of revenue.
No, and I apologize, Commissioner. I do not have the percentage of revenue that we devoted, but the availability or the ability to drive more revenues to the property obviously affords us more opportunity to be able to continue to give back to the community.
Now, I noted in one of the slides that you have special events. Some of that money is shared or, I think, given to charitable causes. Is that part of that number increase, or is that something separate?
We do include, with again the shared promotions that we do with some of the local charities. We do offer other in-kind services, whether it's some free amenities for the groups that are coming in, just to make their process a little easier, but also to afford them to take more home to their bottom line. So the number that you saw up there with the shared events is included in the number.
Let me turn now to something I was interested in seeing, the backstretch of water recapture to be placed back on the track at the 20 to 60,000 gallon replenishment that indicated that you used. Any indication how much water is going to be available on average, a gallon-wise per day? Or what percent you think you can make up? I realize that the good Lord has to make it rain and capture it. Get your meteorological hat on there too.
Yeah, I believe, and let me just get to that slide real quick. So what we're going to be collecting really on an annual basis is about 380,000 gallons of water that we're going to be able to reuse on the racetrack.
May I hear the number again, please?
380,000.
Okay, yes, all right, thank you. Let's talk about the hotel for a second. Let's talk about last year, your last fiscal year. What was your anticipated blended rate for the evening? Did you meet that blended rate? And what was your hoped for census? And did you meet your census goals?
So as far as the blended rate, I don't have the exact number on that, but our occupancy was consistently in the high 90s. Many of the nights sold out, even weeknights. A lot of that attributed to the events that we were bringing in, even Sunday through Thursday, with conferences like Society for Human Resources and other conferences. So the hotel has shown extremely high occupancy.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Carlucci, I always like to ask this question. It's kind of if you had a magic wand, you could wave it. There's a lot going on right now, and soon maybe to be quite a bit of change in the other delivery methods of legalized gambling in the Commonwealth. Obviously, of course, I know we're aware of that for sure. We talked about competition earlier. The legislature, they legislate, we regulate, and it's your business environment in which you operate. And so I'm interested in kind of, if you had a magic wand and could foresee the future down the next 18 months, what would you hope to see? What would you like to see? What would you not like to see? What concerns you?
Well, obviously, if I had a magic wand, I'd love to see the tax rate go down and everything stay the same, but I don't, you know, I just like I can't predict the rain, I see very little chance of that, let's be honest. Probably the thing I'm most fearful of, to be in all honesty and candor, is VGTs, because for the amount of capital investment that we put into this property and our commitment, you know, it worries us because, you know, again, we pay for this license, we've been good, you know, paying the tax revenues that we have, and also for things such as responsible gaming and how we're regulated and things of that nature, to allow VGTs throughout the state, I believe will dilute our business, but also dilute the tax revenue. When you take everything into account, we're paying close to 60% tax. To split that a third and a third and a third, I don't see the win for the state as well.
Thank you. Any other comments?
No.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lloyd.
Both? Got it? All right. I apologize for being late. I put Wilkes-Barre in my GPS instead of Plains, so I was directed to some empty lot somewhere in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. So if you answered this in your presentation, I apologize. But just to follow up on what Commissioner Jewell said, the first question is on the local share. I know that there's a lot of discussion about that. How are you guys handling the local share? Are you waiting for the legislature to address it? Have you worked that out with your local communities, or how are you addressing that?
Again, we've committed to paying our local share here, the local share part of that, and obviously we'd like it to remain the same, but that's our stance on that.
And also, again, Commissioner Jewell mentioned some things that are happening in Harrisburg. I know you talked about VGTs, but iGaming is getting a lot of push in Harrisburg. How would you? I guess my question is, how would you address how you would deal with iGaming, and would it create a significant number of jobs at your casino? Have you given that any thought?
We're not opposed to iGaming. Do I think it's going to create a lot of jobs at this point? No. Again, we're not opposed to it. It would have to be the right circumstances for us, but again, we're not opposed to it.
Thank you.
And if I can just a question. Skiers in the winter, are they gamblers?
You know, without being a skier, I don't necessarily know that. I don't know if any of the others may know that question.
There's probably a small percentage of them, but a lot of we're into the. Obviously, we don't just compete with casinos; we also compete for people's discretionary income. So, you know, a lot of their primary purpose is to ski, obviously, but we may get a little bit of overflow from that. But I wouldn't consider it a primary gamble.
Thank you.
Do you have any follow-up from the questions that you'd like to present? No? Okay. Housekeeping, enter your PowerPoint presentation into the record as Downs Racing Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Crowe, do you have any objection?
No objection.
Okay. So that will be entered into the record. Now we will move on to the presentation from our Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Thank you.
And if I could remind your witnesses again to state and spell their name for the record before they testify.
Great. Director Lloyd and Commissioners, the Office of Enforcement Counsel was established by the Pennsylvania Resource and Development and Gaming Act with the Board's Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement to advise the Bureau on all matters, including background investigations, audits, inspections, violations of the Gaming Act and the Board's regulations. The Office of Enforcement Counsel also files and objects relating to the issuances of license permits and registrations on behalf of the Bureau of Investigations and Enforcement, including the renewal of slot machine licensees. Pursuant to Section 1302 of the Gaming Act, the Board may issue a Category 1 slot machine license to a licensed racetrack facility that has been issued a license from either the State Horse Racing Commission or the State Harness Racing Commission. On September 27, 2006, the Board issued Downs Racing a conditional license, and on December 20th, 2006, the Board issued Downs Racing a Category 1 slot machine license. The Board renewed that license on September 23, 2009, and on August 21, 2013. The Office of Enforcement Counsel intends to call 3 witnesses today to testify regarding Mohegan Sun Pocono's suitability and the renewal of that license, including representatives from the Pennsylvania State Police, the Bureau of Investigations and Enforcement, and the Bureau of Casino Compliance. First, the Office of Enforcement Counsel would like to call Sergeant Eugene Ondeck, Commander of the Bureau of Gaming Enforcement at Mohegan Sun for the Pennsylvania State Police.
Good morning. Gene Ondeck, O-N-D-E-C-K.
And Sergeant Ondeck, can you please tell us what your current position is?
I am assigned as the office commander for Mohegan Sun Pocono Downs.
And how long have you held your current position?
I was positioned there on November 19th of last year, 2016.
And if you could you please give us an outline of your responsibilities as commander?
I oversee the office for the 2 corporals and 8 troopers assigned there with scheduling, reviewing their police reports, ensuring they are adequately trained and in compliance with all of the state police policies and regulations.
And if you could please just tell us what role the Pennsylvania State Police plays at these facilities.
Our primary responsibility would be to investigate any crimes occurring on the gaming floor.
So in accordance with those investigations, can you just please describe your relationship with the other entities at the facility?
Well, we specifically work a lot with the security department and the surveillance department, as well as the local police, Plains Township. And I would just like to echo exactly what Maria Zangardi testified to. This is a great place to work. Having only been assigned there since November, I have nothing but cooperation from all entities, regardless of the department. It's a great group of people assigned there.
And Sergeant Ondeck, are you familiar with the Uniform Crime Report?
Yes, I am.
And if you could just please give us a brief explanation as to what that is.
It's a compilation of data and statistics which is collected and compiled through the submission of police reports by the troopers. The supervisors assigned there, either myself or the 2 corporals, will then enter that data into the website, which is available to the public, by the way, and that is, the website address is pa.ucrs.gov.
Okay, and can you please explain for us what information and statistics you're referring to that goes into that report?
Any crime that would have occurred that is labeled inside that police report would be annotated on the website docket. And as an example, if you had a subject commit the crime of criminal mischief by punching the glass of a slot machine, that would be annotated as one incident via the police report and then subsequently entered onto the website.
And is that information that's entered then subject to editing or updating based on new information?
Yes, it is. On a regular basis, either by weekly or monthly, we will edit or update those crimes as we continue to investigate them, as well as the final disposition. So if you have an individual arrested for assault and subsequently pled guilty to that, all of that would be annotated on that website.
So can you give us an overall description of the information currently contained in the Uniform Crime Report regarding Mohegan since its last renewal in 2013?
I'm sorry, John, repeat. Overall,
It's just an overall view of the information in the report since 2013, the statistics that have been entered.
specific crimes, or I'm not understanding the question.
Yeah, if you could just speak to what information has been entered into the report since 2013.
It would encompass, on a monthly basis, the number of crimes and specify what type of crimes have occurred throughout the casino in that time frame from 2013 to 2017, the present day.
Thank you. And in your view, what is the most common criminal offense contained in that report?
Code 100 and 260. 100 would be forgery and counterfeiting, and 260 is a general offense which would encompass a variety of crimes, anywhere from underage drinking, disorderly conduct, criminal trespass, which would involve self-exclusion violations.
And are you aware as to whether or not there was a significant number of violent crimes that occurred at the facility?
No, very few. And of the ones that are documented, it would be my opinion the majority of those would involve assault on a law enforcement officer during the course of an arrest.
And can you speak to crimes involving individuals under the age of 21?
Very few over the recorded years, 2013 to present day.
And comparatively, has there been an increase in crimes during this renewal period?
No, it stays relatively average and consistent.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Does Counsel for Downs Racing have any questions for this witness?
No, we do not.
Okay. You're excused.
Thank you.
Unless our commissioners have questions? No. You're excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I did it.
Hold on. Wait. Close.
The Pennsylvania State Police, although they're a majority of the time, what are the times that you do not have state police on duty at Mohegan?
We base that upon history. So generally speaking, that would be, and I hate to reveal this to the public, but more or less day shifts. Saturday, Sunday, depending on our staffing requirements, as well as a few night shifts. However, when we do not have any personnel on site, the phone is automatically forwarded to the State Police Wyoming Barracks. So if security and or surveillance or any member of the public visiting that casino tries to get in touch with a member of the Mohegan Sun State Police Office, it'll automatically be forwarded to State Police Wyoming, and a uniformed trooper will respond, as well as Plains Township. They're always willing to step in.
Okay. You indicated your jurisdiction is on the gaming floor, not to the garage, not to the hotel. How the gaming floor, where that's, we just had testimony on that last week on where gaming floors end and begin for other reasons, but some contiguous space to the gaming floor, or where the gaming floor ends, your jurisdiction ends, or how do you determine that?
Wherever there's a slot machine, and an example of that, and we've just gone through the recent security improvements made by the casino. There was a fence surrounding the gaming floor with the 14 access points, as they testified to earlier. Now all of those things have opened up, so I would consider anything inside the fence where patrons have access to open gaming, that's our area of responsibility.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay.
If I could just one very brief follow-up question, how far is that Wyoming barracks that you said the calls get forwarded to?
6 to 7 miles. I don't have an exact estimate, but that's an estimate of 6 to 7 miles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Office of Enforcement Counsel would now like to call Jeannie Ortmato, Senior Supervisor of the Bureau of Concealed Compliance.
Jeannie, Jeanne.
Microphone on.
Sorry. Jeannie, Jeanne, last name ORT-MOTTO.
And Ms. Ortmato, what is your current position?
I am the Senior Supervisor for the Bureau of Casino Compliance.
And how long have you held that position?
I've been with the board since 2006 and am in my current position for approximately the last 2 years.
And can you give us an overview of your responsibilities?
I'm in charge of supervising the people that are in the casino 24/7. We have a supervisor, CCRs, and as of the last year, we have technical field representatives that do the machine inspections.
And can you describe the role that casino compliance plays at licensed facilities?
We are the daily 24/7 kind of eyes and ears of the board that are in each of the casinos.
And what tasks or actions does casino compliance perform within those facilities?
We do self-excluded intakes, investigate non-compliance issues. We inspect all the machines, receive the machines, make sure that they're communicating with GTAC, as well as customer complaints.
So to perform those tasks, can you speak to what level of access casino compliance has?
We have unfettered access to all parts of the casino. When I mean unfettered, usually a lot of the places are, just like at work, that you swipe and go in, and we can get in any of the locations.
So given casino compliance's role within the facility, are they ever afforded the opportunity to interact with patrons?
We interact with patrons on a daily basis, whether it be that they knock on the door, a complaint that's forwarded from, say, security department or another department, as well as in Harrisburg, I will forward customer complaints to them for contact.
So how does casino compliance then address those inquiries or complaints?
It depends. Sometimes it's once we try to find out, of course, what the patron wants or what their issue is. Sometimes it's education. Sometimes there's issues of non-compliance that we will do a report and forward to OEC. And sometimes the patient just, wants to be heard.
And could you speak to the relationship between casino compliance and the Pennsylvania State Police?
Excellent since day one. We shared an office in 2006 with them.
and also with Mohegan Sun staff.
As Maria Zangardi had spoken to, it's amazing, and Mohegan's probably, don't hold me to the statistics, but there are a lot of people, including Maria, that have been there since the day I opened them, in 2006. There's been some members that have gone and left, but it's really nice to go back. We've had an excellent working relationship with them. My supervisor, who's also been there since day one, Sal Mecca, always reports on how cooperative and engaged everyone is.
No further questions?
Mr. Stewart?
Good morning. Mark Stewart, S-T-E-W-A-R-T. No questions.
Okay. Any questions from our board members? No? Or excused?
Thanks very much.
And lastly, the Office of Enforcement Counsel would like to call BIE investigator Matt Lotney.
Good morning.
You could please state your name for the record.
Matthew Lotney, Mathew, Lotney is Lougney.
And Mr. Lotney, what is your current position?
Currently, I'm an investigator with the Bureau of Investigations and Enforcement.
And how long have you held that position?
I've held this position since approximately September of 2007. I've been with the board since January of 06.
And can you give us an overview of your responsibilities in that position?
Certainly. My responsibilities, usually on a day-to-day basis, are to conduct background investigations with regard to the licensed facilities, the employees that work at the facilities, as well as the companies that do business with the facilities.
So were you involved in the investigation regarding Mohegan Sun's renewal application?
Yes, I was.
And can you tell us whether or not that application was timely filed?
Yes, it was filed in a timely manner.
And if you could give us an overview of the scope of that investigation.
Yes, the scope of the investigation was to, once all of the application material was collected and received, as going through the background investigation, more materials are received. So what we'd like to do is compare and review those materials to make sure that full disclosure has been ensured. For instance, it would be my responsibility to ensure that all the certifications and permits that a facility like a casino would have, such as food service or occupancy, to make sure that those licenses and permits are valid, active, and in right order.
Okay, and in your opinion, was Mohegan Sun cooperative throughout this process?
Yes, they've been very cooperative.
Following the completion of an investigation, is there a report generated that would contain BIU's findings?
Yes, there would be.
Okay, and what happens once that report is then generated?
Once my report is completed and generated, it is submitted through the chain of command and processed through the Office of Enforcement Counsel.
Thank you. No further questions.
Mr. Stewart? No questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. The Office of Enforcement Counsel has no more witnesses.
Documents, would you like to move your documents into the record?
I would. At this time, I would ask to introduce 8 exhibits. Exhibit 1 contains the Pennsylvania State Police Uniform Crime Report. Exhibit 2, a letter from the Pennsylvania Racing Commission dated January 17, 2017. Exhibit 3, a letter from the Department of Revenue dated February 7, 2017. Exhibit 4, a memorandum from the Board's Office of Compulsive and Problem Gambling dated January 17, 2017. Exhibit 5 contains 8 citations issued by the Pennsylvania State Police Bureau of Liquor Control Enforcement to Northeast Concessions LP and BL Operations LLC. Exhibit 6 contains 6 consent agreements entered into between the Office of Enforcement Counsel and Mohegan Sun that were approved by the board. Exhibit 7 contains 3 memorandums generated by the Office of Enforcement Counsel memorializing 3 compliance conferences that took place at Mohegan Sun. And Exhibit 8 contains 18 warning letters issued by the Office of Enforcement Counsel, of which 15 of those letters required responses, and the 15 required responses from Mohegan Sun. The Office of Enforcement Counsel would also like to ask that Exhibits 7 and 8 be kept confidential and that all 8 exhibits be moved into the record.
Mr. Stewart?
No objection.
Okay, we will move those 8 exhibits into the record. The notation that 7 and 8 are to be kept confidential.
Thank you.
We will now move on to our public comment portion of the hearing. I have received, or the board clerk has received, 3 written comments from the public. One does not oppose or support. It involves patron comps and complaints about those. One opposes but addresses horse racing, not casino gaming, so that one was forwarded to our Department of Agriculture and the Racing Commission to their attention. And The third one is in opposition. Those have all been given to the parties. Also, we had an individual sign up to speak today, Mr. Peter Marinari, and he is not able to be here, so he has submitted a written statement for the record as well. So unless counsel for either party has any objections to these public comments, we will enter those into the record.
No objection.
Mr. Stewart?
No objection.
Okay. So we will enter those in as Office of Hearings and Appeals Exhibit Number 1 as the public comment. So now we will begin with the speakers list. I'll remind the speakers again, state and spell your name for the record. I have 4 individuals that have registered today. Robert Sachs, Jessica Cronauer, Wicco Van Genderen, and Elizabeth Harvey. If the 4 of you are here, will you stand to be sworn by our court reporter?
You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
And we will begin with Robert Sachs from the Plains Township Board of Commissioners, and I remind you of 10 minutes for your comments.
Thank you. I won't be 10 minutes, that's for sure. On behalf of Plains Township and Board of Commissioners, I'm the chairman of Plains Township Board of Commissioners, and on behalf of our 10,000 residents, I would like to say Mohegan Sun has been a true asset to our community. We benefited in many ways. Our departments, our fire department has benefited for extra safety for our township. We have, like I said, we have 10,000 residents, and like you heard today, they have sometimes 10,000 visitors a day. So we had to make measures to protect our residents and also the safety of the business of Mohegan Sun. We purchased a ladder truck for over $1 million, which we would have never been able to do without our local sheriff funds through Mohegan Sun. And if there's any safety issues, our fire chiefs here and our deputy fire chiefs here, they work hand in hand with the safety department at Mohegan Sun. We have never had any complaints. Our police department has also made measures. We've added on personnel. We've added on equipment. Our road department also with equipment for our township for garbage packers, and the residents also benefited for minimal price for garbage pickup. Our business corridor right here, Route 315, has been something to cherish since Mohegan Sun has been here, with businesses thriving, hotels popping up, more and more businesses are coming on our 315 corridor, and we can't say enough about that. Also, like I said, the residents truly benefit. We have no tax increase for our residents throughout the time Mohegan Sun has been here. Mr. Carlucci reached out to us. Can't thank him enough last year. We never asked for anything. He stepped up to the plate and assured us of our local share funding for this year, since legislation is still up in the air of what we're going to actually get. So that speaks volumes. Thank you, Mr. Carlucci. And also I'm a member of the Lions Club, so I know how we benefit from that. Our local Lions Club also receives donations from Mohegan Sun. So on that, I'd just like to say we definitely would appreciate the renewal license from Mohegan Sun. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll move on to our community group speakers. Jessica Cronauer from Leadership Wilkes-Barre.
Good morning. I might be 10 minutes. We have a lot of good things to say about Mohegan, so feel free to cut me off if you need to. My name is Jessica Cronauer. It's Jessica and Cronauer. I'm the Programs and Communications Director for Leadership Wilkes-Barre. We are so thrilled to have the opportunity to tell you how much good that Mohegan Sun Pocono has done, not just for the well-being, but for the morale and the infrastructure of northeastern Pennsylvania and beyond. At Leadership Wilkes-Barre, our mission is to develop informed and committed leaders from all segments of the community who serve, strengthen, and improve Northeastern Pennsylvania. While we have a diverse portfolio of programs, each program subscribes to that mission with 3 objectives, and that is not just leadership development, but also community awareness and networking. We're in our 36th year, and the program was developed by members of the community who were committed to making sure that Northeastern Pennsylvania is always full of individuals who believe in and fight for its potential. And that's important because what I want you to understand is all of those who sit on our board are made up of our alumni. And those people stay involved because they believe in the good that we do and the positive experiences and results that they see when they are involved. Our philosophy is servant leadership, which is essentially the belief that in order to become leaders, you need to first serve, and that you don't ask anything of those around you that you wouldn't do yourself. Our participants take part in that transformative experience that teaches them both the capacity and the responsibility that they have to give back. So what I want to tell you today is how from day one, Mohegan has demonstrated that they will not just support what we do with their time, their energy, their talent, and their treasure, but that they have become an integral partner in our organization and maintain a presence on the front lines of our mission. Since their inception, Mohegan has been committed to participating in all levels of our programs. Year after year, they have sent multiple members of their team through our intensive core development program, as well as our executive programs. These participants experience development not just in leadership skills, but they become integral members of the business community, and most importantly, they learn about the needs of Northeastern Pennsylvania. Every participant who goes through any leadership program must work with their class, which is upwards of 50 different individuals from the community, business sector, government sector, private sector. They have to complete a community impact project. Basically, a community need is identified, and then a plan is designed and executed to fulfill that need. They raise money, thousands and thousands of dollars. They build playgrounds, they refurbish crumbling infrastructures, and they change thousands of lives for the better. Just this year, for example, Mohegan's participants are working with the Children's Advocacy Center, Misericordia University's Women with Children program, the Leave No Trace Initiative for Environmental Sustainability, and that's just this year. So imagine the ripple effect that their participation has had year after year, sending team member after team member, each one having had the opportunity to affect significant positive change for countless organizations and individuals throughout Northeastern Pennsylvania. The truly exceptional outcome is that through their partnership with our organization, they aren't just developing leaders within their staff and for their own sake. They are training their team to give back consistently and with great value. Core program participants have gone on to serve as volunteers and board members for dozens of nonprofits. Internally, I know that they have collected Christmas gifts for over 1,500 children through Volunteers of America and Wilkes-Barre YMCA. That's just this past year. They participate in the United Way's Days of Caring. They collect money for organizations like the United Way. They volunteer for CEO's Weinberg Food Bank. This is a culture, and it's prevalent throughout their team from the top down, and has been, again, since they opened their doors in Northeastern Pennsylvania. Mohegan's participants sit on our boards, and they help us to continue to develop programming that meets the needs of Northeastern Pennsylvania. Several members of their team continue to work on our advisory councils, which gives them the opportunity to mentor and guide new class participants, including our high school juniors, which is a really fantastic opportunity for us because of Mohegan's participation in that program. These kids who are the next generation of professionals in our community, they become aware of what this organization has done and what their opportunities are in the future. Because of Mohegan's generosity, and not just from a monetary perspective, but because of their time and energy commitment, their in-kind donations to what we do, we have been able to reach more people, grow our portfolio of programs, add programs because of their support. With the recent addition of their hotel, we now have the privilege of holding our annual dinner and graduation at their facility, along with several of our other programs. And this is an opportunity to showcase the impact on the community to at least 500 community stakeholders year after year. There are thousands of alumni within the Leadership Wilkes-Barre Network, and we all see the good that Mohegan Pocono has done for Northeastern Pennsylvania and beyond. And it's refreshing and incredibly comforting to know that such a large organization has such a stake in the stability and well-being of the community, to see them giving back. They have been a great friend and a great partner to our mission, and I strongly encourage you to renew their license so that we can ensure we get to work with them for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Wicco Van Genderen from the Wilkes-Barre Chamber of Commerce, and I'm sorry if I mangled your name.
Oh, no worries. My wife does it all the time. Well, good morning. My name is Wicco Van Genderen. Let me give you a spelling on that. It's W-I-C-O for Wicco. Last name Van Genderen, V-A-N, capital G-E-N-D-E-R-E-N. I'm the president of the Greater Wilkes-Barre Chamber of Business and Industry. By the way, on behalf of the business and community leaders here in the Wyoming Valley, I want to welcome Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board to Plains Township and to Greater Wilkes-Barre. Also apologize in advance to Dante for his Google mishap today. We'll try and make sure that we fix that for the next go-around. I'm here to provide testimony to the impact of the Mohegan Sun Pocono, what they've have had, and continue to have, not just in our valley, but throughout the Lucerne County and the NEPA region in 3 primary areas: direct economic impact, amenity development, and engagement in our community. You know, before Mohegan Sun opened in Plains Township, when gaming in Pennsylvania was still an abstract concept, the new owners of Pocono Down were still an unknown quantity. We were naturally circumspect. What would be the net result? What would gaming provide for the basis of positive economic growth and community uplift? And would it have an adverse impact to the community? And I will tell you today, we can look back, examine the metrics and the impact on our community, and provide a very confident answer to that question. And that answer is a resounding yes. Mohegan Sun has had a very positive economic impact on the community. In addition, it has added to the attraction model to the area, and finally, its people have been very, very active in giving back to the community. And so it's with this backdrop in mind that the Greater Wilkes-Barre Chamber supports the renewal of Mohegan Sun Pocono's casino operating license. So with regard to the direct economic impact, I think it's already fair to say that you've gone through a lot of the relevant economic impact numbers for our areas. Well, let me go through a couple of them to, again, call them out. First, over 1,600 employees, with, by the way, 90% of their hires coming from within a 30-square-mile radius around the property. Number 2, total capital investment to date has been over $375 million over the time span of the site's evolution from a racetrack to mini casino to revamping the entire racing area to the construction of the new casino and then to the latest $50 million investment in the 238-room construction of the new hotel and convention facility. Number 3, when you add licensing to the state and the investment figures, and when added to the $1.3 billion paid in taxes, Mohegan Sun has made a $1.6 billion total investment in casino facility and contribution to the area. Number 4, as you know, 4% of the tax base went to Plains Township's general operating budget and to the competitive grants for public safety and economic development activities within Lucerne County. And as of the end of fiscal year 2015-2016, Mohegan Sun Pocono had generated a grand total of $8 million in local share account LSA tax revenues from the slot machines, and about $5 million from the table game play. And all of those funds have been ultimately distributed as grants to the Mohegan Sun's host community of Plains Township and other communities in Lucerne County and throughout Lucerne County local share account program. And that LSA program continues to resonate. Relative to 2016, Mohegan's success has permitted Lucerne County local share account program to award about $12.5 million to some 50 local projects, local worthy projects. And the net impact over the last 10 years of local share investments are truly visible throughout our community in projects ranging from the rebuilding of Kingston's Point Library to Wilkes-Barre Township's new police station, to Misericordia University's College of Health Sciences, to the expansion of the Chamber's business Incubator in downtown Wilkes-Barre, to the Luzerne County Small Loan Program, the Pittston Main Street revitalization, the SHINE program for K through 12 students in our schools, and to the most recent Innovation Squared initiative to make downtown Wilkes-Barre an innovation center of excellence, all of which would have been exponentially more difficult to do without the LSA grant program. Likewise, Mohegan's $375 million in capital expenditures contribution to amenity development are equally impressive. In an age when investment leisure dollars are more mobile than ever, quality of place truly does matter more than ever to any community trying to remain competitive. The addition of Mohegan Sun Pocono to our array of attractions has exponentially improved the quality of place offered by Northeastern Pennsylvania. In addition, Mohegan Sun's contribution to other amenities, such as helping to fund our hockey arena, plays to the attractions the area has to offer. All told, the Mohegan Sun Pocono has and continues to be an amazing addition to our local amenities package, not only as a casino, but as a well-rounded dining, shopping, and entertainment destination. And rather than competing for a static pool of entertainment dollars within our market, Mohegan's complex has helped draw out of market visitors to greater Wilkes-Barre as well. Even against the backdrop of a very dynamic and difficult economy, Mohegan's presence has proven to be complementary rather than competitive. My final comments focus on Mohegan's community involvement. And on that point, Mohegan Sun has become a recognized core contributor to our community. From its leadership team to the up-and-coming young professionals in their organization, the Mohegan team has become fully engaged in our community and making it a better place. I can tell you firsthand, time and time again, the Mohegan team has been a willing contributor, not just through their resources, but in their time and ideas as well. They've become a fixture not only in public settings, but also in the blocking and tackling that you all know we need to do to get the job done. And it's indeed difficult to think of another corporate arrival in our region that has so rapidly woven itself into our community fabric. When it comes to community involvement, Mohegan Sun has set a very high bar to its peers. So in closing, because Greater Wilkes-Barre, the Wyoming Valley, Lucerne County, and NEPA have all benefited tremendously from the economic impact, investment, and energy that Mohegan Sun has brought to our region, I will tell you that the Greater Wilkes-Barre Chamber and I are firmly in support of the request for license renewal. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to provide testimony today to the request for license renewal. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we will move on to our individual speakers. I remind those speakers they have 3 minutes to speak. As I said, Peter Marinari is unable to attend, so we will move to Elizabeth Harvey. And Ms. Harvey, before you begin, I understand that there is a pretrial order from a judge that states that all counsel and parties are prohibited from making any extrajudicial statements concerning those proceedings before that judge, which are likely to interfere with the right to a fair and impartial trial. So I just remind you of that before you make your remarks today.
Okay. Good morning, and I'd like to thank the members of the board of the Gaming Commission for giving me a chance to speak on my behalf. My name is Elizabeth Harvey. That's spelled capital H-A-R-V-E-Y. And I am here to give testimony concerning my urgent opposition concerning Downs Racing's license renewal. Under reasoning of their believed deliberate and discriminate use of their security cameras, as described in my March 24th, 2017 complaint papers forwarded to the Pennsylvania Gaming Board for their consideration. A careful reading of the said papers, and in particular to my August 10, 2011 complaint, copy thereto attached, reveals that I sustained approximately $2,000 in injuries as to a believed slippery floor, as then attested to by Mohegan Sun's top security officer, Chris Carnes, who specifically informed me that, quote, security cameras were in place and, quote, recorded my fall on August 18, 2009. As to the latter remarks, however, when a Mohegan Sun operative was questioned as to a specific interrogatory being, does the defendant have any surveillance, video, photograph, or videotapes, or visual records pertaining to plaintiff's fall or where the plaintiff fell? If so, describe and produce copies of any created within a day before and a day after plaintiff fell. Their answer was no. Therefore, would anyone of reasonable mindset believe, in view of exhibits A, B, and C attached to my complaint before this board, that the security camera above where I was sitting on August 18, 2009, which is evidence for this board to see for itself or others, did not record my fall? I do not believe so. And further, I am of the distinct belief that Mohegan Sun did not want anyone to absorb the intensity and horrific manner of such resulting on that night. Therefore, I submit that as a direct result of intentional purpose of Mohegan Sun and or Downs Racing resulting on August 18, 2009, along with exhibits A, B, and C, as referred to in argument, in support of my instant complaint hereof, that Mohegan Sun and Downs Racing did not want a jury to view any surveillance evidence of my fall on its believed overly waxed floor, and thus a clear and distinctive discriminant. Non-availability of its security cameras are possessed by them to fully protect their interests while fully uncaring of mine.
Ms. Harvey, I'm going to have to ask you to wrap up. You were at 4 minutes now.
Oh, sorry. I only have a little more to say.
Just if you can just wrap up your comments, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. According, in closing, it should be abundantly clear the exhibits A, B had the benefit of security cameras to evidence what transpired thereof in proper manner. However, my circumstances, according directly under a security camera, as shown in the provided picture as to this instant matter, somehow did not see or capture anything, and thus in view of a believed blatant submission thereof by Mohegan Sun's personnel, I urgently oppose a license renewal to said entity based on the evidence factored of exhibits A and B attached to my March 24, 2007 complaint to this board. I want to thank you for listening to my comments.
Thank you. We are now Downs Racing. Do you have any closing statement you'd like to make before we end the hearing? No? Mr. Crow? No. Okay. Any briefs or written memorandum if you feel the need to say any more to the board before they hear this matter can be filed before close of business April 5th, next Wednesday. The record will remain open until the board hears the matter at a later public board meeting. A report will be prepared based on the testimony and evidence entered into the record today, and the suitability report when it's filed with the Office of Hearings and Appeals. All of this information will be sent to all board members, along with the transcript of today's hearing and all other documents. And at the board's convenience, it will schedule this matter to be heard at a future public board meeting. I'd like to thank you all for coming today, for your cooperation, and the hearing is now adjourned. Thank you.